here we have Australian dollar and Canadian dollar. And here we see that price makes lower low, and then it needs a higher high, right, to confirm our structure. So here's what we have. We have a high, low, high, and then low. And then again. So up to that point, we can see that we have solid bearish structure, right? So that's something that's a fact. We're gonna write it down. We have solid bearish structure. Okay, all right. And then when I got to the chart, price was around here. All right, so we're gonna block this out to get a better picture. All right. So when I get here, I see that price zoomed through this level, right? And usually price tends to come back, right, to this level that was zoomed with such power. So here we see how price came back to that level. So we can mark that, right? That's where sellers proved their point and they came back to this level, right? And as you can see, the upward flow, it's got a lot of it's got a lot of, it's struggling to get up there. And as soon as it gets up there, we see that candle. We see this, okay, we see this bearish engulfing candle just zooming down, right? And then the session closed. It opened with a big gap. So price came back to fill that gap, right? So that's where it was at when I came on the chart. So what I proceeded to do is proceeded to plot an Andrews pitchfork, standard Andrews pitchfork here, and I saw how price had a validation, right? And I saw that we're seeing her go being through. So then I proceeded to turn it into a modified shift. And we see it in tune, right? We see that it's in tune with price. See validation here, right? And then what I proceeded to do is find the inward frequency of this movement that also pretty much an swing zone, right? Is pretty much what we're looking at, swing zone. Okay. So then we go And we mark this zone due to the fact that there was a fractal bar here and price pretty much melted, right? So we had this zone, this supply zone. We had the edge fork, right? That through the modified shift, we knew it was a market edge. And lastly, I proceeded to draw this dynamic support line, right? We see how it catches the frequency of here 1, 2, 3 times, 4. Then it comes back, right, to touch the candle in such an amazing way. And then just to get a little more confirmation, I drew a fib retracement, all right? There it is, it's at 38 level, right, just about. Went on the next structure, and it was about a 50, about a little bit less, right? So I was pretty happy. All the fibs were falling within my supply zone, right? And I proceeded to wait for this candle to close, this green candle. And I executed on the next candle. It wasn't at the open, but we got a 104 RR, right? And just some extra confluence. We do see a continuation on the moment here. Check it out. This is what we're seeing. Seeing momentum divergence, right? It's going up, it's coming down. So this is what we got, right? That was the first one. And we have another one that played out. And it's this one on GU trade. Okay, now for this GU trade, again, we're looking for a structure, the major flow. Let me mark this out for you guys. Okay. So here we are, coming down. Okay, coming up, down. Okay, then we proceed to come up and down. So that's our structure, right? That's our structure right here. Our solid structure. Obviously, it's we're bearish, right? And what we proceed to do is first, we see that there is a swing zone where sellers proved their point. They came back up to that area, right? So there we go. Something to keep in mind. All right, and when I came to the chart, When I came to the chart, price was still going up. I actually waited. And what I proceeded to do was go to my latest solid structure, which was this, right? I proceeded to draw an Andrews pitchfork, standard. So right away, I had an idea because I saw that it was approaching the fork line, right? So again, it might be a market edge. So obviously, we saw price broke through this level, right? But again, it's still a solid structure. So this was my my next solid structure here. And I proceeded to draw a modified shift fork, which then I extrapolated to the upside. And if you can see, we have the original and the shift, right? This is, so I waited till price got up there, right? And then I proceeded, to mark out the supply zone, right? So here, ignition point, we see at this moment how bears just drop down sellers. So we mark that out. And then we proceeded to draw our frequency line, which again, cut the frequency of the zone. So we got a very nice supply zone. And we made an observation of an SR line, right? Dynamic support and resistance line, right? That zoomed in our point. So here we have a confluence of techniques. We have the modified fork, we have the standard fork, we have the supply zone, we have the dynamic SR line. And as soon as I saw that green candle get up to my point of ignition, I executed, right, for a 104. Stops were just above this wick, right? And we were actually in, price came down, but it went back up actually about 3 times, 3-4 times it was up there to finally reaching our target, right? And again, we had a momentum divergence. Here you see we're making a lower low. Here we got a higher high, right? So this is what we got. This was a GU trade. GU trade. So we had one more. And this was the this was the UJ trade. Again, let me go around here. All right, stops were here. And TP was up here. All right. Okay, this was not there. Okay, stops were, this one was a 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have a UJ trade, and again, solid structure. All right. Again, we have higher high, lower high, higher high, right? So that's our solid structure. We can see right off the bat that here price left the wick and it came down, right? So here proceeded to mark that line, make that observation. And then in our solid structure, we proceeded to see this frequency line, right? And we can see how price came down and pierced that. But really, I decided to take this trade because in this part, we see that price came up, down, and then it proceeded to go up one more time. Right, so I saw that little structure. And oh my God. Okay. So here we are. We're recording one more time. Okay. So this is my solid structure here, right? Up, down, higher, high. All right. And I proceeded to see this minor flow buyers. And I saw that the place where buyers have proved their point, I was able to draw a switch line, right? That here it's resistance and here it's support. Also, I was able to draw a frequency line, slope frequency line, right? Which makes that intersection. And what I proceeded to do was I proceeded to plot a standard modified fork to see if I could pinpoint its reversal point. And here we are. All right. Which then I was a bit skeptical because here we see that the movement divergence, right? And I figured it was just this movement, right? Because here we got solid buyers and we got minor buyers. So here's my frequency line for the first zone. And here's my outward frequency line. So you can see the candles poked it, but did not close below it. So it was still holding. Price went up and just flew, right? TP was here, top of this wick for about a little over 103. And we can see UJ just flew. All right, like, damn. Look at that. Right, so here confirmations were the switch line, slow frequency line, standard modified fork for reversal, and we executed, right? So here's the video, guys, just sharing. Any feedback, more than welcome. Thank you, guys, and that'll be it.